Now, if you're in a relationship with someone who has ADHD, your mind may have wondered, does ADHD make them more likely to cheat? And the idea of ADHD impulsivity can lead a partner's mind to a place where they think to themselves, is this possible that they're going to cheat? This is a really sensitive topic that a lot of people avoid, but it's really essential to address it directly. I just want to start with saying that ADHD challenges don't dictate your relationship's outcome. So in this video, we're going to answer 3 key questions about ADHD and infidelity, and I'm going to show you actionable steps to strengthen your relationship to reduce the risk of cheating. So first of all, let's address the most crucial question. Does ADHD make someone more likely to cheat? Well, the answer is a lot more complex than it often seems, and it really involves understanding how ADHD affects behavior. So ADHDers are often impulsive, meaning that they can make quick decisions without fully thinking through the consequences. And this impulsivity can lead to risky choices, including infidelity. Oftentimes, ADHD brains can get bored and seek stimulation. And again, this can sometimes lead to infidelity and cheating. But the connection between ADHD and cheating isn't solely about acting on impulse. It's also about how ADHDers can manage their emotions and regulate their behavior. So emotional regulation is the ability to handle and respond to your emotions effectively. So for us ADHDers, this can sometimes be challenging. Can struggle to link their actions with potential outcomes, and especially in emotionally charged situations. So when the relationship is struggling, this can really impact and exacerbate a lot of the emotions that are happening within the ADHD. So this doesn't mean, but you might be thinking, this doesn't absolve them of responsibility. And you're right, this doesn't mean that ADHDers don't understand cause and effect, but ADHD's brain wiring makes it a little bit harder to pause and consider the results of our actions when emotions are high. So if you imagine it as driving a car with faulty brakes, you know when you need to stop and put the brakes on, but sometimes the brakes don't always work properly or in the right way, or even as fast as you'd like. And this is similar to how ADHDers can feel when they feel temptation in a relationship. You know, they may know that cheating is wrong, but the internal brakes aren't functioning as well to stop the impulse in that moment. But again, I want to make this really clear. Having ADHD doesn't automatically mean that someone will cheat, or that they are a cheater, or that they are going to cheat on you. Many ADHDers have faithful and loving relationships with no infidelity. But recognizing the potential challenges and developing strategies to address them is really key. So this is all well and good, but what can we do to prevent infidelity in an ADHD relationship? Well, taking a proactive approach is necessary, and it starts with approaching the concept of infidelity head on. You know, being able to open a conversation with an ADHD partner and asking them, what is it that you feel? Do you feel impulsive temptations in the relationship? Tell me a little bit more about times when you have felt it, or do you not feel it? Asking them questions, taking an interest in the way that their brain works. This will help to build this emotionally safe environment to have these conversations openly with your partner. And in order to do this, it's crucial to be able to manage your own emotions. And doing this involves separating what they're saying from their character. Understanding that these thoughts and feelings are not based in their character. It can be based on the current environment that they're in. So as an example, because ADHD doesn't mean that they are a cheater. Having ADHD means that they have a little bit more difficulty with the self-regulation, the behavioral regulation. Because it's natural and normal and human to have passing thoughts of infidelity, for your brain to wander in a direction of, I wonder what this relationship would be like. It is normal and human to have these thoughts. So being able to open the conversation with your partner about these thoughts, if they have them, and being able to discuss openly and create the emotional safe space for them to be able to express their feelings in whichever way they feel comfortable with. And in doing this, you create an environment where your partner is able to express to you whether they do have thoughts of infidelity or whether they do have challenges with temptation in the relationship. And in this way, when your partner is able to feel safe about it, then this creates something that we call catharsis, which is the feeling of being able to just express yourself. And what happens is that this actually reduces the feeling that they need to hide it, to lie about it, and that they need to act on this behavior. Simply by expressing it to you in a non-judgmental atmosphere means that they're less likely to want to act on those impulses. And this is why it's so crucial to start these crucial conversations with your partner about the idea of infidelity. And during these conversations, it's really crucial to avoid giving ultimatums. So a lot of people mistake this idea of boundaries and they decide to step in with an ultimatum. So for example, if you ever cheat on me, or if you ever speak to somebody else, or you have a conversation with the opposite sex or the same sex, then this relationship is over, it's done for. I'm going to walk out. This is a false idea of creating a boundary. What it's actually doing is creating a controlling atmosphere. It's trying to control what your partner does or doesn't do by preemptively pushing consequences on their behavior. So this doesn't actually create a safe space. It actually pushes a partner further away from you and decreases the connection. So infidelity is possible in any relationship. The temptation of other people is never going to go away. It will always be there. So what steps can we take to reduce the risk of cheating in an ADHD relationship? The first step is to create a game plan for impulsive moments. So open up a crucial conversation with your partner and start to discuss the idea of what actions to take during high-risk situations. So, for example, if one partner feels tempted, they should call the other one or a trusted friend immediately. Being proactive about this can help prevent impulsive decisions. Well, in any ADHD relationship, discussing and planning on an action during high-risk situations is really crucial. Because if a partner feels like they're going to give in to their impulses, they need a behavior to replace that behavior. So, for example, in a situation, if a partner feels tempted to cheat or is having impulsive thoughts about infidelity, they can call the other partner or a trusted friend immediately. That can be the game plan to break the brain out of this loop and reduce the risk of any action actually being taken on this. So this proactive approach can prevent impulsive decisions. And this works with other impulsive decisions as well, such as impulse buys or having arguments with people. Having a game plan for these situations is really crucial. Next, it's really important to talk about your emotional and sexual needs together. So a lot of relationship issues arise from unmet needs and wants. So by creating this emotional safety to discuss these needs, you can prevent resentment and frustration that often leads to infidelity. So for example, if your ADHD partner can't fully express their sexual needs and desires, then this can lead to the risk of infidelity because they're unable to speak about these desires and feelings, so they can keep them inside, which can increase the probability of acting on these behaviors and then feeling guilty about it and lying about it. So having this emotionally safe atmosphere where you can both share your ideas without judgment and sexual preferences means that you can work together to create a game plan on fulfilling these needs and desires. Next, it's important to discuss the potential consequences of infidelity. So this is about fostering accountability. By openly acknowledging the impact of cheating on your relationship, you create a stronger deterrent against impulsive behavior. So this is not simply about, if you cheat on me, then I will leave you. This is about talking about the impact of feelings. So for example, rather than saying, if you cheat on me, then I will leave you, saying with something along the lines of, I've been cheated on in the past and it really crushes me. It hurts me so much to feel that disloyalty to someone. So if I got cheated on again, I'd probably feel that same way, but I'd still want to know about it and discuss it with you to see if we could overcome that challenge. By replacing an ultimatum by simply being able to express your feelings, but still encourage your partner not lie about it, this helps show your partner that you're on their side. Even though you disagree with the behavior, you're still open to overcoming the relationship challenge that led to infidelity. And this helps to create this emotional safety between you and your partner and help you overcome more of these emotional discords that can happen in the relationship. Next, consider coaching or working with a therapist. I have quite specific thoughts on couples counseling, which I'll link to above and in the description down below. But coaching a therapy with somebody who understands ADHD can help to provide a lot of tailored strategies to help navigate conversations and feelings effectively. So this can help you reconnect and strengthen your relationship. And this is exactly what I do with my ultra-normal members. Working with ADHDers and non-ADHDers in their relationship to be able to overcome the emotional and logical discords and actually rebuild the connection between you both in order to repair the relationship. Now, if you do want a deeper dive, then join me on my free relationship bootcamp, where I'll show you the same tools that all of my members use to turn their relationships around. Next, a lot of people would say to set clear boundaries in this situation, whereas I actually disagree. Boundaries don't often work, which I've done a deep dive video. Again, I'll link to in the description down below and up above. But ultimately, instead of setting boundaries, have conversations and mutually agree to guidelines for interactions with other people, such as coworkers or social media use. Boundaries are often quite one-sided and ultimately can lead to a lot of controlling behavior. But simply opening discussions about expectations around social media use or interactions with the opposite sex or coworkers is simply opening the floor to understand the consequences of maybe your partner's actions in interacting with the opposite sex. So this is not about restricting what they do or telling them what they should or shouldn't do. This is about creating a mutual agreement, a win-win agreement between you both on what you find acceptable. You are two different people. So having one rule to cover you both is not really going to work. So creating a win-win out of these rather than one rule that covers them both, that doesn't make anyone happy, is really crucial. Now, next is understanding the difference between emotional discords and logical discords. Now, I've spoken about this deeper in ADHD relationships in a video which I'll link to on screen. And I want to really stress this. ADHD does not guarantee infidelity, but it does require proactive management in the relationship. The challenges are real, just like they are in any relationship. Ultimately, in ADHD relationships, there are two main types of challenges. There are logical challenges and emotional challenges. When it comes to cheating in ADHD relationships, our logical brain can kick in. They're in a relationship with me, so therefore, why would they cheat? But oftentimes there are deeper emotional things happening when it comes to infidelity. And it's important to understand the difference between these logical discords compared to these emotional discords in order to be able to navigate them in the right way. So I'll leave you with that deep dive video, and I will see you over there. And just before I dig fully into this, if you do want more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe to my channel for new videos on relationships, communication, and even ADHD every single week. A lot of people avoid this topic completely, but it's really essential to address it directly, because being with an ADHD can sometimes feel like a roller coaster ride. Everything's fine. The next, there's an impulsive decision that can turn your whole world upside down. So it's perfectly normal for your mind to wander to a place of, is my ADHD partner likely to cheat on me? So in this video, I'm going to break down the link between ADHD and infidelity, as well as some crucial strategies to reduce the risk of cheating in your ADHD relationship.